Episode 19. The Stepmother's Struggle. The landline began to ring, jolting Maddy awake. Her heart raced. Was something wrong at the hospital? Hours earlier, Maddy had returned home after spending the entire night at her husband, James Madison's, side. The house was deathly silent. Her children, Javelin and Jethro, were already at school. She sank into a chair and let her gaze fall on the large family photo hanging on the wall. Their only family photo. It featured James, herself, her 2 children, and his 3 from a previous marriage, her stepchildren. It was James's favorite. She often caught him staring at it, cherishing how it held all his children together. The photo, over 5 years old and taken on Christmas Day when James's children had visited, brought back vivid memories. Andre had repeatedly ignored her whenever she tried to connect. Angela, always watching both Maddy and Andre, would step in and respond on Andre's behalf. Even when Maddy coincidentally sat next to Andre at the dining table, Andre acted as if she weren't there. Angela's sheepish smile had always reminded Maddy that she understood but couldn't do much. After years of marriage, Maddy had struggled to connect with Andre, Angela, and Augustine. She constantly worried and complained to James about not standing up for her or helping his children see her as a good stepmother. James would always reassure her, saying, "There's nothing to worry about. My children will come to like you." Maddy had hoped he was right, that, over time, they would eventually accept her. It was that hope that had made her so eager to finally have all 3 of his children with them on Christmas Day, the first time since she married him. His children had spent most of their lives in boarding school, and after Maddy joined the family, she rarely saw them at all. When they did come home for vacation, those few days were often filled with cold silence, a reminder that they barely acknowledged her presence, before returning to spend the remainder of the holiday with their mother. That Christmas Day with Andre and her siblings had convinced Maddy that nothing was going to change, and she had stopped trying. Angela, naturally outgoing, still related to Maddy superficially, while Augustine remained distant and closed off. Feeling dizzy after lingering on the photo, Maddy had dragged herself to her bedroom for a short rest, planning to prepare lunch for Javelin and Jethro when they returned from school. And now the landline rang. Maddy picked up, her voice trembling slightly. "Is everything all right at the hospital?" The caller's urgent tone left no room for questions. She was needed immediately. Without hesitation, Maddy agreed. She quickly dressed, leaving a short note for Javelin and Jethro near the landline. "Prepare something to eat. I'll be back soon." Within minutes, she was on her way to the hospital. Meanwhile, miles away, Andre was driving to meet Dr. Kai. Her phone vibrated, but she didn't answer. He had called, surely impatient, urging her to come quickly. Checking the time, exactly on schedule, she wondered if he might cancel again. A shiver ran down her spine. "No, he can't, not after last time," she muttered, then set the phone down and continued driving. When she arrived at the elegant bar, she paused to admire the tall glass walls, golden lighting, and soft jazz flowing through the speakers. Outside, Dr. Kai was waving eagerly as he hurried toward her car. "Andre, I've been calling you," Dr. Kai said. "I was already close," Andre replied as she stepped out. "Wow, you look stunning," he added. But instead of leading her inside, he hesitated halfway, pausing near her car. Andre smiled faintly and gestured toward the bar. "Can we go in?" she asked, sensing something was off. Dr. Kai bowed his head slightly, wiping his forehead, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. He didn't respond. Andre studied him closely. "What's the matter?" she asked again. Finally, he raised his head, shook it slightly, and said, "I need to get going. I'm not on duty, but it's really urgent." Frustrated, Andre turned back to her car, Dr. Kai following silently behind. She reached the car, straightened, and said firmly, "Don't ever call my phone again." Andre wasn't a woman of many words. Among her siblings, it was well known that she spoke plainly and acted decisively, unlike her twin sister, Angela, and their brother, Augustine, who were far more talkative. Dr. Kai began to apologize, but Andre, clearly angry, ignored him. She didn't look back as she drove away, leaving him standing there, watching her car fade into the distance. Continue enjoying this episode of One More for Christmas at onemoreforchristmas.wordpress.com.